kazoo's are actually really hard to play. I'm not even kidding, they are a difficult instrument to learn. In this episode, we're going to go down under and take a look at an Australian claymation feature. Now, personally, I have visited Australia before, but I was only 4 years old, so I don't really have that many clear memories. However, I do remember dropping a china bowl on my arm, and I've had a scar ever since. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of like a sharp bite. So, let's take a look at Mary and Max. Mary and Max is an Australian stop-motion animated feature. It's about the pen-pal relationship between an 8-year-old girl from Melbourne called Mary and an obese middle-aged man from New York called Max. I found this movie to be poetic, beautiful, sweet and touching. It expertly blends black comedy with delicate drama without leaving a sour taste in the mouth. The jokes are witty and clever because they're so well written and wonderfully silly. I mean, unlike other animated black comedies like Turkle in Trouble or Free Jimmy, Mary and Max doesn't rely on infantile shock value to be funny. It depends on the charms of its characters' unique personalities, habits and traits to get across its humour. Now, I won't deny how depressingly tragic this movie can be. The characters suffer from constant bad luck as accidents and hardships prey on them both. It's very harrowing to watch Mary and Max being trampled on by fate, but here's the thing. Life is full of coincidental misfortunes. That's what makes this movie so relatable and realistic. It covers troubles that we all have to deal with in life. Things like death, heartbreak, neglect, rejection, humiliation, guilt, betrayal, and anxiety. It covers all these themes with sensitivity and reserved execution, rather than with contrived melodrama or bitter spite. It may have a grim tone at times, but it's not afraid to be optimistic or pleasant when it wants to be. In fact, I would have to say that it can be really uplifting and inspiringly powerful. This is thanks to the endearing humanity and sincerity of the movie's lead characters. We grow to sympathise with their struggles. Sure, the relationship may be limited to just printed communication, but we get to know so much about these characters simply through the letters that they send to each other. Mary and Max are so fascinating and interesting that I grew to love them and wanted their luck to turn around. I was so connected to them both that towards the end of the film, I began to choke up and cry like a little baby as things came to a close. It's a very emotionally effective movie thanks to the charm of its protagonists. The film's characters are fantastic because they're not stereotypes or one-dimensional tropes. They're convincing human beings. I know people like these characters and can see myself in some of them too. Let's first talk about Max. Max is a middle-aged New Yorker with Asperger's syndrome. Now, I haven't mentioned this before on the show I don't think, but I have Asperger's, so I could recognise so much of myself in the character of Max. His habits and fears resonated with my own. This made him come across as convincingly autistic to me, which I have to applaud because it's very difficult to write an autistic character. Max is intelligent, over-emotional, imaginative and sensitive. His inability to perceive the world around him makes him easy to sympathise with, but he's no angel. He makes mistakes like any other human being and has a dark temper underneath. He's fleshed out, developed, likeable and fascinating to watch. Secondly, there's Mary, who we get to see grow up throughout the film. Due to parental neglect, Mary is a very sensitive and fragile girl with little self-esteem. Her mood bounces about as the narrative progresses because she takes things to heart, so her emotions are often exaggerated. Although she may be vulnerable, Mary remains likeable thanks to her quirky personality and sweet nature. Then there's the movie's narrator, who manages to help get across certain information without being used excessively. His narration may be frequent, but it's not overused. The film does sometimes pause to let the visual speak for itself. Everything that the narrator has to say is justified because it's naturally informative and fits the tone of the film. The rest of the characters may seem a bit harsh or unusual, but they all come across as identifiable. People like Mary's neglectful alcoholic mother or Max's blind neighbour do exist in this world. The scale of Earth's population is phenomenal, and every man or woman is laced with histories and identities. This film embraces this fact by giving us a variety of colourful, obscure and recognisable characters. I mean, unlike Turkle in Trouble or Free Jimmy, the main supporting characters in this film are portrayed as empathetic creatures, rather than just pure evil bastards. You can see a sign of humanity deep down inside them. The animation in Mary and Max is fluid and full of personality. The facial expressions convey clear emotions, and the characters' movements get across so much. My favourite aspect of the movie's animation is Little Mary's adorable walk cycle. It's like a cute waddle, I love it! The art style is quite unique. Director Adam Elliott has a very individual look to his characters. Their distinct faces, strange stuck-out ears, and wacky expressive eyes are nothing like anything I've ever seen before. The colour palette may be a bit bleak, but the visuals remain wonderful to look at thanks to the weird style and quality animation. Philip Seymour Hoffman from Boogie Nights voices Max, and he's brilliant. I wouldn't expect anything less from Hoffman. He affectionately embraces his character to a point where he becomes unrecognisable. His emotions are clear, his delivery is believable, and his voice really captures the character of Max. Mary is voiced by two different actresses. Bethany Whitmore plays young Mary, and Little Miss Sunshine's Toni Collette plays adult Mary. Both actresses give a sensitive and sympathetic voice to the character of Mary, and sound authentic in their role. They reflect her eccentric behaviour and sweet nature perfectly. The movie is narrated by Barry Humphries, a comedy actor who is best known for his alter ego, Dame Edna Everage. Humphries' narration sounds charming, captivating, and tender. He sounds interested in the story he's telling and has a warm-hearted sound to his voice. The music score for Mary and Max is freaking beautiful. It can be soft and gentle when a scene is to be taken seriously, or it can be spunky when a scene is supposed to be funny. It adapts to the imagery and emotions on screen with versatile ease. It's a score that also sounds impressive on its own. To conclude, Mary and Max is a thought-provoking and powerful movie. It made me laugh, it made me cry, and it made me smile. I enjoyed it on so many levels and connected with the characters. So, I'm going to give it 5 chocolate stars out of 5. If you're unsure whether Mary and Max is your cup of tea, then I encourage you to check out director Adam Elliott's short, Harvey Crumpet. If you like that film, then you're bound to enjoy Mary and Max. You know what? I'd like a pen pal myself. Arthur J. Smith, get out your typewriter because you're about to make a friend.